What's up, guys? It's Christian here, and today I will be doing my first Knicks podcast of the 2019-2020 season. Today we'll be talking about their current record, how certain players are doing, and what they could possibly do going forward as a team to possibly make the playoffs. So currently, the New York Knicks are 4-10 in the Eastern Conference, which has them second to last, only behind the Washington Wizards, who suck and literally only have Bradley Beal and Rui Hachimura as well. But it doesn't really matter because they don't have John Wall because he decided to fall in his own house. But the Knicks are currently 4-10, which is not good. It is unacceptable for the talent, even though they didn't get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving in the offseason. But currently, they just aren't playing well. They're really inconsistent. In certain games, they're really good. They somehow beat Dallas twice, both home and away, to prove to Porzingis that he made a stupid move. Right now, it probably won't look like that because they have Luka Doncic, but maybe in the future the Knicks can make that proven. But otherwise, Porzingis was 2 of our wins against him. Sensational. I don't know how he beat both of them. And then we also had a win against Cleveland recently and the Bulls earlier in the season, in which we came back from a huge deficit, and Bobby Portis showed up and proved to the Chicago Bulls that they should also not have gotten rid of him. So let's just go through the certain players that are performing both well and not as good as they can be. So currently our leading scorer for the New York Knicks is Marcus Morris, and it really started off well with the good performance from him in San Antonio on opening night, with all the scrutiny for him not going to San Antonio and then coming to New York to come back to be closer towards home, which I believe he's from around the Philly area. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't hold me to it. But Marcus Morris has been really good for the Knicks so far. Had a couple incidents, one in the preseason where he hit a guy in the head with the ball. And he's also had a couple technical fouls. Don't know how many. But he's been definitely one of our most consistent players. And if he can continue to do this, along with some other people improving, I expect the Knicks to be winning more games going forward. Now, the biggest signing from the offseason was the, I believe, 3-year, $63 million man, Julius Randle. Now, he's averaging 16.5 points per game, which isn't bad if you just look at it like that. But if you see with the eye test and more just watching games and even looking at some deeper stats, he's not playing as well as he should be. He is being very inefficient. I believe he's just not playing as good as he can be offensively, especially. And the biggest thing that I've seen so far is the turnovers. He's really struggled because they ask him to bring the ball down, and he has the ability to bring the ball down as a point forward type guy who's really not an undersized 4, who's even sometimes asked to play the 5 in certain situations with the lack of size that the Knicks have at the moment. He's been very turnover prone, especially, and it's costed the Knicks in certain early games, and overall it just isn't something that can happen. So if he can continue to do that and be better, like he did it just against the Cleveland Cavaliers at home, in which they won by a decent margin, and it was really thanks to Julius Randle being really efficient. He was 12 for 17 from the entire game, had 30 points for the season high. If he can continue to do stuff like that, it doesn't need to be 30 points every night, but if he can continue to be efficient and shoot above 50% from the field on a consistent basis, the Knicks are going to be a lot better than 4-10 looks like on the surface. And I think that that's something that he can definitely do. And now that we have guys like DSJ coming back from his back injury, and Frank Ntilikina is getting more minutes, and while Elfrid Payton's injured, those 2 guys especially, and some other guys like RJ Barrett, can bring the ball down so that Julius Randle doesn't need to bring it as much. Therefore, less turnovers and more efficiency from the guy that we think can be a 20-point scorer on a consistent basis. Now, just like we talked about the guy that is currently on this jersey, our 3rd overall pick, RJ Barrett. Now, he's also struggled with inefficiency problems as well, but the biggest problem is the free throw line. He can't shoot free throws. This was a problem I'm sure it was in high school, but definitely in college, especially Duke. He just cannot shoot the free throws. I don't know why. He is currently ranked 123rd out of 123 qualified players from the free throw line. I believe he's shooting around 50%, 50.6%. That's bad. Like, really bad. Like, that is unacceptable. Now, he's still averaging 15.8 points per game, which is really good for a rookie. And he's playing a ton of minutes. Fizdale's taking it down a little bit, which, whether that's a good thing. I mean, lately he hasn't been playing to his level that he was early. So I think I agree with that move to try to get better minutes out of him instead of the most amount and not as quality minutes. So if he can improve from the free throw line, he's good. Like, there's not other things besides the inefficiency. He also shoots the ball at not a great rate. He's 41% from the field, which isn't good. It's not good enough, especially from a guy that's playing 30-plus minutes a night. So we need to rely on him more. But if he can get better from the free throw line and continue to be a really good player for us, playing 30-plus minutes, I think that RJ Barrett can still make a better impact on a team that really has a bunch of more veteran-type players compared to him. But I expect a lot out of RJ Barrett going down the rest of the season, and I'm sure he will get better from 123rd ranked from the free throw line. Now, our starting center, well, not starting center, is Mitchell Robinson. Now, I think he got a concussion. I don't remember who hit him in the head, but he did get a concussion, and then he was out for a while. Then came back, and he has been starting thanks to Taj Gibson's good minutes starting, even though he's not playing necessarily starting player-type minutes. But Mitchell Robinson, when he's in, is a force both defensively and through the lobs and all the stuff around the rim offensively is really dangerous. He's averaging 10.7 points per game. But by the eye test, I can see that the point guards and even like RJ Barrett and guys that are handling the ball a lot, coming when they cut into the lane, he's such a threat that they can just lob it, and he's putting it and dunking it, and it's really good to see from him. And then defensively, he's the same thing. Guys are scared to come in on him, and even if they do come in, it's not as full forced, and he's blocking shots like it's nothing. He is currently averaging, let me see, Mitchell Robinson is currently averaging 1.9 blocks per game, which is really good for a guy not playing a ton of minutes. And if he was playing starter type minutes, I'm sure that would go up. Now, the problem with him is the fouls. Mitchell Robinson just fouls way too much, and if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's a really, really, really impact player for the Knicks. And I'm sure that in the next couple of weeks, Taj Gibson will be moved to the bench and Mitchell Robinson will be starting and playing more like 25 to 28 minutes maybe a night as hopefully these foul troubles go down. And now we go to the less quality players, but the guys that are trying to make an impact off the bench. So Bobby Portis had the great game against Chicago earlier, but he's really been quality off the bench, both a threat from a three-point perspective, but also on the inside as well. And the highlight game was definitely that Chicago Bulls game at MSG, in which he took over, I think had around 28 points and pretty much helped us beat his former team, which is a big deal for him. And next player who recently just came back after somebody in his family passed away was Dennis Smith Jr. And definitely that Dallas game on TNT was a big deal. Looked really confident, was hitting shots, and I don't know what the heck that was, but anyway, so Dennis Smith Jr. has been really quality, especially in that Dallas game on TNT. You could just see he was shooting the ball much better, and like he was just attacking, and he felt like himself, because when we saw him in the dunk contest after the trade, you could just see he had his athletic ability, and there was a putback dunk in there. There was a three at the shot clock. There were alley-oops and great moves where he fooled both Seth Curry and Luka Doncic with like a little dribbling move that somehow worked on him. I don't know how, but you could just tell that Dennis Smith Jr. really was getting back to what he can do. And if he gets more time and more comfortable, I expect him to make a impact and possibly take away the starting spot from Frank Ntilikina, who is my next person. So Frank, a little different from Dennis Smith. He was healthy, but he was like healthy scratches early in the season, just didn't play. Like the Fizdale just did not have confidence in him. And now, ever since he started, he's been playing great on defense. He looks like he's shooting a little bit better than he was in the first couple of years. And if he can continue to do the defensive work that he was doing, like the great jump ball against Luka Doncic on TNT as well at home. If he can do stuff like that and facilitate, I think he had 6 assists against Cleveland in the win. I expect that Frank's going to continue to get minutes, and those two, Dennis Smith and Frank, while Elfrid Payton's out, can fight over for that spot. And then we have guys like Damian Dotson, Kevin Knox, 2 dudes that are playing better off the bench, especially Kevin Knox, who struggled last year, is looking a lot better. Struggling a little bit more lately, but if he can continue to do what he was doing early in the season, shooting the ball well from 3, it looks clean. It looks like he just feels natural and comfortable again. And then Damian Dotson was healthy scratches early in the season. Now he's playing more. Looks really like he's attacking well, attacking the rim, just playing free-flowing. And if he can get the minutes, I think but that takes away from a guy that people have an uproar in, is Alonzo Trier. A really good scoring guard who played a lot last year, then played some this year, then doesn't play. Like, there's no consistency with the rotation, which is a problem. But if Alonzo Trier can get minutes, I don't know where they're going to come from. But him or Damian Dotson, they can both be really impact players for the Knicks. And then you have Taj Gibson, our veteran guy who's starting. And as long as he's doing good things, starting, playing 18 minutes a night, I think that's around what he's playing. If he can continue to do that, then I think that the Knicks can use him as a weapon, both in the leadership role, but also just doing stuff like he's been doing his entire career. So the next couple games for the Knicks are the Philly 76ers on the road tonight. You have San Antonio at home, Brooklyn at home, at Toronto, and then Philly again. So as long as the Knicks can be a little more consistent, get some more efficiency from guys like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, I believe that the Knicks could possibly, the weak East is still something that exists. There's teams like Brooklyn that should be making the playoffs that just aren't. Let me see how far away they are. I believe they're around 3 games out of 8th, which is 2 games out of. They are 7.5 out of 1st, and obviously that's not something realistic for a team that doesn't really have a star at the moment. Maybe guys like RJ Barrett could be. You never know. But if the Knicks can play a little more consistently throughout the next stretch of games and try to put up more wins and losses and kind of climb their way up the conference, I think the Knicks could still make the playoffs. It's really early, and Fizdale definitely should not get fired. Steve Mills, you need to go immediately so that guys like RJ Barrett don't get their things screwed up and their careers ruined because of you. So please do not fire Fizdale and get rid of other people that shouldn't be there. But this is my first Knicks podcast of the season, currently at 4-10. Please let me know what you think about the New York Knicks or any other team that I could possibly do a podcast for. Please like, subscribe, and just let me know what you think about the Knicks and anything else in the NBA in the comments below.